Hello, everyone. Welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. And just a quick note, this week, due to the holiday on Monday, I will be streaming today, Wednesday, and on Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, this week I will be streaming on Friday. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is @DougPless. Here are the key tenets to my approach to trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Magnificent Seven stocks, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with the ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index. And the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading. The first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as their directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis. And for setups, and when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the asset. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions or comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, Stephen, Dan P. Welcome. Glad you're here. Here's my agenda for today, Wednesday, February 19th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go over my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll get to the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with economic data and events. Pretty light week. Yes, Stephen, thanks for asking. I will be streaming on Friday. All right, so let's start. There are just a few news and events this week. First of all, today there was some housing data out this morning. Didn't appear to be, that was at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Didn't look like that was much of a market mover. Also, VIX expiration was this morning. And then finally, 2 p.m. today, FOMC minutes. And I'll stop whatever I'm doing at 2 to take a look at the market to see if there's any reaction to the FOMC minutes. And then on Friday, options expiration, that is the monthly options expiration. Let's take a look at that. See how that options expiration is stacking up. What this chart is showing is market makers delta notional by expiration date. And this is for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000. So this is today's Friday's expiration, the 21st. So note that's a pretty minor expiration compared to the upcoming March expiration, the quarterly expiration. So what this chart is showing, the orange bars are showing call delta notional, positive delta notional, and blue for puts, negative delta notional. And you can see this is a very heavily call-dominated expiration. And this call delta, call positive gamma that has been restraining movement in the market, some of that will expire on Friday. It could lead to a little bit more volatility next week. All right, so that's options expiration. Again, monthly options expiration on Friday. And again, also on Friday, I will be streaming. All right, so let's move on now to positional analysis. Again, this is the S&P 500 futures and Bookmap ES futures. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to the underlying index, SPX. This is a 1 year, 1 day chart for SPX. Rally continues. All right, now let's take a look at a 30-day 1 hour chart. Whoops. 30-day 1 hour chart. This was the new downtrend line that formed a couple weeks ago. Then last week, SPX broke above that level. Last few days, trading at a very narrow range. Looks like it's breaking out above that range now. And note, SPX did make a new closing high yesterday. Looks like it may make another high today. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First of all, the expected moves, shown by the dashed purple lines. This is the lower and upper weekly expected move based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. And so far, SPX is trading within that range. Those levels remain in place for the entire week. Next, the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from yesterday. I do post those levels in Discord every day the evening before. So SPX is also trading inside the daily expected moves. All right, so those are the expected moves. Let's take a look at the spot gamma levels on this chart now. These are based on gamma-weighted open interest. They're provided to spot gamma subscribers on a variety of trading platforms. This is Think or Swim again, 30-day, 1 hour chart. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, the put walls at 6,000. That's a strike with a large net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Note that level did move up from 5,900 yesterday. In recent weeks, it has oscillated between 5,900 and 6,000. Now up at 6,000 again. Next level up. 6,000 is also the absolute gamma strike. That's at L1. That's the strike with largest absolute positive and negative gamma. So that's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. Next level up is the volatility trigger at 60.95. That is spot gamma's proprietary volatility and gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. We'll take more closer look at gamma in just a couple of minutes and see that SPX is trading firmly in very positive gamma. And finally, the call wall remains up at 6,200. That's a strike with largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. So potential floor at 6,000, potential ceiling at 6,200. All right, let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1-minute chart. And I'm just going to leave it like this. So I'm showing about 6 days worth of data. So what this is showing is that chop for the last few days starting last week. Remember, Monday was a holiday. So the chop Friday, Tuesday, and now it looks like SPX wants to break out of that level, breaking out above that 6133 combo 1 level. All right, so let's zoom in now. Around the 6133 combo 1 C1 level, acted as resistance earlier today, and now SPX is trading up above that level. All right, back to Bookmap. So in Bookmap, I have my own notes here so I can show SPX levels and SPY levels as well as key levels for ES. So there's that 6133 combo 1 level that I was just talking about. And around that level, between that level and SPY 612, acting as resistance earlier today. Now ES is back up above, right around that 612 level again. Another level in play this morning was the SPY 610 absolute gamma strike. Price did chop around that level for quite a while, for about 2 hours, from 8:30 to 10:30. Then broke out above. All right, note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. And today it's right around 18 points. So for example, I'm showing this SPX 6120 level at ES 6138. That's the equivalent price for ES. And I do post those index relationships every day on Discord in the Options-Jug chat channel. Matan says the W is already there. I assume you're talking about this right here. Very definitely looks like a W. We can turn down the heat map and make that a little bit more clear. All right, shifts and levels for the S&P 500. For SPX, the volatility trigger shifted slightly higher, and again, the put wall shifted higher. And for SPY, the call wall shifted higher up to 620. All right, that is the S&P 500. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, there was a little bit more movement today than the S&P 500. Let's take a look at the underlying index charts, starting with QQQ. QQQ levels in play. Here's the volatility trigger, 537. Price did break down below that level earlier today, then rallied up above. This combo level acting as resistance. And now the next level in play is the 540 call wall. Looks like that may be acting as resistance so far. All right, so QQQ has moved up from the 537 volatility trigger to the 540 call wall. All right, let's take a look at NDX. Then we'll get back to NQ and Bookmap. Only one level in play for NDX today. And that is this 22,137 combo 1 level. Acted as resistance, support, support, and sort of support. So key level for NDX today, that 22,137 combo 1 level. All right, back to Bookmap. So in Bookmap, just like ES, I have my own notes here so I can show key levels for QQQ and NDX. There's that 537 volatility trigger. Price traded below, then traded above. There's that combo level for NDX. Resistance, then support. Then finally the call wall, QQQ, call wall at 540. Shifts in levels for NASDAQ. For QQQ, the volatility trigger shifted higher. And for NDX, the absolute gamma strike shifted higher to 22,000. All right, so those are the levels in play for ES and NASDAQ, NQ. All right, let's wrap up positional analysis by taking a look at gamma. I'm going to start with gamma notional at the beginning of the day. This is market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. For the NASDAQ, S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. Note for SPX and NASDAQ, the numbers are positive. Again, positive gamma environment. Market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. And for Russell 2000, still negative. And the shifts in gamma notional were pretty interesting today. For the index components, that would be SPX, NDX, RUT, those gamma notional numbers shifted lower. And for the ETF components, SPY, QQQ, IWM, gamma notional shifted higher. But the main point is for the indices that we trade here, or I trade, S&P 500 and NASDAQ, all positive. All right, let's take a closer look at a current view of gamma notional. This is the trace tool available to Spotgamma subscribers. I'm showing gamma here in this view. The blue shaded portion indicating positive gamma. Remember again, in positive gamma, you're expecting slower movement, mean reverting price action, rather than a sharply trending market that would typically might occur in a negative gamma environment. Let's step back just a little bit, step back in time. Go back to about 940. So you can see this large positive gamma region, a little bit of negative gamma up above, the red shaded region. Stability index is 63%. A little bit more stable than it has been in the last few days. Notice also the gamma exposure bars over on the right. And you can see the positive gamma. The strikes that stand out are the 6100 level, 6165. We'll just step through time. Go to the current price. And the S&P 500. This is SPX, still in positive gamma. All right, so expecting slower movement again in positive gamma. All right, so based on this, Based on this information, I was looking for lower volatility for today, and also looking for a grind higher. All the shifts in levels today were positive. There weren't a lot of shifts in levels, but they were all positive. So slightly bullish, looking for a grind higher in positive gamma. All right, let's go back to the S&P 500. All right, so let's, looking at this chart, there's quite a bit of chop really for about the first 90 minutes before the S&P 500 finally broke higher. Let's see what options traders are doing. So let's shift now to execution. Take a look at some setups from earlier today. I'm going to start again with the S&P 500, and I'm going to take a look at what options traders have been doing today. So this is the S&P 500 index signal showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the S&P 500 index components, SPX, SPY, ES, and XSP. Orange line for calls, blue line for puts. Rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls. And in this case, when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they buy ES futures to hedge their delta exposure. So it pretty clearly looks like to me that call buyers have been driving price higher today. Let's zoom in just a little bit. So you can see this chop in the morning. And then right around 10:30, or actually more, maybe 10:15, call buyers started to come in. And price responded higher. All right, so that is the index signal. Let's take a look at the equity signal now. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for all 500 stocks in the S&P 500 index. Again, chop for about the first hour. Then the call buyers started to come in. And S&P 500 started to move higher. All right, so note the agreement between the index chart and the equities chart. This is bullish, very strong signal. Call buyers driving price higher in both the S&P 500 equities and the index signal. All right, so let's go take a look at Bookmap now. Let's zoom in just a bit here. Zoom in on the morning session. So you can see that chop for the first hour. Call buyers started to come in right around 10:15. Price started to move higher. Pull back to the 610 level. That's also point of control, that dark purple line. Magenta dots show market buy, more sellers than buyers. Volume dots show market buy minus sell. You can see the sellers are exhausted there. Small magenta volume dot, aggressive buyers start to come in. Cumulative volume delta rises. Buy stop orders shown by the rising yellow line starts to increase. And price moves higher as traders are buying calls in both the index components as well as the S&P 500 stocks. And aggressive buyers came in ES. Finding resistance again right around that combo level and the SPY 612 level. And nice W pattern as Batan's 844 pointed out. I assume that's what you were talking about. All right, so that is the S&P 500. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. little bit more movement in NASDAQ today. Instead of chop in the morning, there was a down move. Let's see what options traders are doing. Back to Hero. Let's go to the NASDAQ signal. Zoom in on this just a little bit. So in the morning, I thought this was the best signal for NASDAQ. Kind of a bearish opening drive, bearish continuation pattern. Blue line, orange line moving the same direction, both down. And price follows. As traders in the NASDAQ index components, NDX, QQQ, were buying puts and selling calls. Price moves lower. Then call buyers started to come in about the same time as they did in the S&P 500. 10:15 here in this case, yeah, 10:15. Call buyers come in. Price moves higher. All right, this is again the NASDAQ signal, the index signal for NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the Mag 7 signal. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the Magnificent 7 stocks: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla. And you can see from the open, traders were buying calls in the Mag 7 stocks. And this is the NASDAQ index signal started moving lower, price started to move higher, stopped moving lower, price started to move higher, reversing higher 10, 10, 15. On both the Mag 7 and the NASDAQ. All right, so let's go take a look at NASDAQ. NQ futures. Here's that move down. Looking at the subchart, you can see the pink magenta line showing cumulative volume delta falling. Also sell stop orders shown by the yellow line, fueling that move lower. Large traders were fading that move. They were buying NQ futures with iceberg orders they used to hide their size. Set up a nice reversal here as again traders started buying calls in the NASDAQ index components in the Mag 7 stocks. And price reversed higher above the 537 volatility trigger. All right, so that's NASDAQ. All right, I've got about 2 minutes to the FOMC minutes. Matan's 844 says YouTube stream lags the Discord stream. Yes, that is true. So please join me in Discord. Also, live chat slow mode is on, so I have to pause before messages. Yes, and that is beyond my control. So the idea is you will have a much better experience if you go ahead and join Discord, Bookmap Discord, and join me in the stream at Bookmap Discord, again, for a much better experience. So sorry about that. There's nothing that I can do about the YouTube live stream. All right. I do have some stocks that I want to take a look at and also talk about ways of finding stocks that are moving. So we'll hold on just a moment. Take a look at the S&P 500. And wait on the release of the FOMC minutes. And the market was not pricing in much of a move today for the FOMC minutes. Stephen asked, what is your AV WAP set on? Here, let's see. I'll take a look at it in just a minute. AVVOP. or anchored VWAP. All right, FOMC minutes are out. All right, not much movement. All right, let me check AVWAP. Here I'm using this one. All right, so Stephen, there you go. I think I'm just using the kind of the standard built-in VWAP. All right, so not much movement at all to FOMC minutes. Watching a stream of CNBC, FOMC, well positioned to take time to assess the evolving outlook. All right, let's move on. Not much going on here for the S&P 500. Let's take a look at some stocks. So I'm going to take a look at a couple of Mag 7 stocks, 3 Mag 7 stocks, actually 4, and then a couple of opportunistic setups. Then we'll get back to the S&P 500. We'll take a look at trace, charm pressure, and delta pressure. All right, so let's take a look at some stocks. First stock, Amazon. Let's take a look at Hero, see what options traders are doing. I like to focus on the Hero chart patterns. Let's zoom in on this. So in the morning, this was a little bit of a delayed opening drive, bullish opening drive. Not really a call peak, but definitely a call topping pattern. The flow alert right as the call line approaches this top. Flow alert as price reverses lower. Setting up a nice short in Amazon with that call topping pattern. And Amazon has since recovered at least some of that move. But again, very nice call topping pattern. Setting up a short. Let's go to Bookmap, Amazon. There's the reversal lower. Let's zoom in on that. Oops. Looks like kind of a head and shoulders pattern there. Nice short entry right at 9:45. As traders stopped buying calls, started selling calls. All right, so that's Amazon, short setup. Next stock, Meta. Looks like traders have been taking profits in Meta last couple days. Meta's been very strong. All right, let's take a look. So notice this is showing before the cash open. Meta was already very bearish before the cash open. bearish opening print. A lot of aggressive sellers at the open. 700 is the key gamma strike. 690 is the put wall. All right, let's see what options traders are doing. All right, so Amazon again, call topping pattern. Let's take a look at Meta. Zoom in. Bearish opening drive. Traders buying puts shown by the blue line. Selling calls shown by the orange line. Also continuation pattern. So bearish opening drive, blue line, orange line moving the same direction. Again, traders buying puts, selling calls, price moves lower. Breaks down below the 700 key gamma strike. Next level down, key gamma level, spot gamma level is the 690 put wall. All right, back to Bookmap. Zoom in on this just a bit. So there's the bearish opening drive. Pullback entries to VWAP. And let's go back to Hero now. Emma Tan says, I am a member of the Discord channel. I'm watching your stream there. Username The Loop. All right, so if you want to... All right, Matan says the stream has no volume. Stephen is typing, oh boy, hello, welcome, glad you're here. SPX pin for today. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a minute. So, Matanj, you need to post in the Options-Jug chat channel. Here, remember, right here is where you want to post in Bookmap Discord. Not the streaming channel, this channel right here. That's for posting messages. All right, back to Meta. Put buyers call sellers, take the foot off the gas, 1020, 1030, and then price reverses higher. And the call buyers come in right around 1050. So mostly calls driving price. Down consolidation. So selling calls, stop, then start buying calls. The Loop, welcome, glad you're here. And let me know if you can hear now. So I haven't heard it. Nobody else has said anything about volume in Discord. All right, so that is Meta. Next stock, NVIDIA. And call traders definitely driving price today. Zoom in on just a little bit. So somewhat of a bearish opening drive. Right around 937, traders start selling calls, continue buying puts, price moves lower. Then abruptly, 1010, Traders stop selling calls, start buying calls, and price moves higher, back up to the 140 call wall. Key level today. All right, back to Bookmap now. So again, remember, bearish opening drive, resistance at the 140 call wall, key gamma strike, 1010 call line abruptly shifts from negative delta to positive delta, and price moves right back up to the 140 call wall, key gamma strike. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to NVIDIA. And you can see all the green volume dots. Even on the way down. Cumulative volume delta shown by the magenta to dark blue line rising from the open. Sellers are exhausted, small magenta volume dots. Aggressive buyers started to come in. Traders start buying calls. And price moves higher, right back up to the 140 call wall, key gamma strike. Now price is broken above that level after about 2 hours of chop around the 140 level. Now price is broken out higher. Now it looks like some aggressive sellers may be coming in. You can see the magenta volume dots. All right, next stock, Tesla. Very bullish opening drive. Let's take a look at Tesla. All right, back to Hero. Go to Tesla. Zoom in a bit. Call buyers definitely driving price higher from the open in Tesla. This is what a bullish opening drive looks like. Call line straight up, traders buying calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to edge the delta exposure for the first 20 minutes. Call buyers, they're very aggressive. That slows down a bit right around 950. Then for the next 20 minutes, they're still buying calls, but at a slower pace. And then finally, a call peak. Callers are exhausted, call exhaustion, and price starts to move lower. Classic pattern there. Aggressive call buyers in the first 20 minutes, slow down the next 20 minutes, and then call exhaustion. And price consolidates or moves lower. And in this case, moves lower until the call buyers came back in right around 11:45, and that was pretty brief, then call exhaustion again. Let's go to Tesla and Bookmap. There's that bullish opening drive, a lot of aggressive buyers. Whoops. Green volume dots, some sellers start to come in. First 20 minutes, second 20 minutes, call exhaustion, price moves down, call buyers start to come in. Note how volume has dropped down quite a bit. Now, in the afternoon, the volume dots are a lot smaller. And the loop asks, what services are being used here? Bookmap and Spotgamma, yes. And I will talk about one other service in just a minute. All right, so that's Tesla. Those are the 4 Mag 7 stocks that I want to take a look at. Let's go back to the S&P 500, and I'll get to another couple of stocks. All right, so it looks like S&P 500 breaking out now. breaking out above that 612 level. And let's check. Let's go back to S&P 500. First, the index. Traders buying calls. So it looks like they like what they're hearing in the FOMC minutes, or maybe didn't hear. Either way, call buyers coming in. Put sellers. Price jumping higher, also aggressive buyers. Let's check the equity signal. Here in the equity signal, there was really no pause in the call buyers. All right, so that is the S&P 500 index. Call buyers coming in again. Equities continue to buy calls. Let's check NASDAQ. Looks like this is more driven by the Mag 7 now. Call buyers. All right, back to the indexes. Bookmap. There's the S&P 500. Quick jump up, almost 10 points. Actually, a little bit more. Now, a NASDAQ jump up to the 22,000 level. Large gamma 3. Above the 540 call wall. Back to the S&P 500. Let's check trace. All right, gamma is showing still positive, but it looks like a little bit of neutral gamma right here above the 61. Let me check that level. So above the 61.45 level, a little bit of a pocket of more neutral gamma. Right there, the negative gamma up above. Let's check charm. Note the stability index has dropped down a bit. Check delta pressure. Blue buying support below, red selling pressure above. SPX approaching that red selling pressure up above in that negative gamma area. Let's check charm pressure. All right, so what this is showing is, so we just looked at delta pressure. That is negative selling pressure above, blue buying support below. This is charm pressure, time decay pressure. And delta does change as time changes. And what this is showing is that all this red zone here is time decay, wrong tool. Time decay exerting bearish pressure on SPX. And could be slowing down movement today. And the loop asks, what do the shapes and brightness represent? So I'm showing three different views of options Greeks for SPX here. Here's gamma. Key to remember here, blue gamma, positive gamma. This is indicating market maker's position on the gamma curve is positive and positive gamma environment. Market makers have to trade against price to delta exposure. That tends to subdue or decrease volatility, leading to slower movement, grind up like I was talking about earlier. Delta pressure, this is just like a heat map in Bookmap, showing red selling pressure above, blue buying support below, and then charm pressure is showing time decay pressure. And all day, SPX has been dealing with this bearish, or the selling pressure, bearish pressure being exerted on SPX by time decay. Also, on this chart, we can see potential pinning level right there between the blue buying support below, red selling pressure above. That's right at 61.45. Right here, this blue positive gamma bar on the left. So potential pinning zone. And you're welcome to loop. Contour lines are exactly that, just contour lines. So contour lines kind of lead to an area on the chart. So according to this, it doesn't always work, but the potential pin at 61.45, and if price does continue to move higher, maybe at the 61.65. The loop, I suggest if you want more information on the contour lines, go to spotgamma.com, go to the resource center. It is free, and you can do more research there on go to trace and contour lines. You should get more information. And if you do have access to the tool, here you can get more information. This may not say anything about the contour lines. Okay. All right, so it looks like S&P 500 continues to move higher. Now maybe finding resistance at the 613 level. Let's take a look at a couple of other stocks. This is Arista Networks. I did post this in Discord earlier today. This was a nice short setup. Let me zoom in on this. Arista Networks reporting earnings yesterday after the close. Made a very nice short setup this morning. Let's go take a look at, go back to Hero. I'm going to shift to the total signal. It was a little bit more clear this morning. Looked like it might have been a bullish, setting up a bullish opening drive, flow alert. You know, if we wanted to trade bullishly, get in on that little pop higher. But pretty quickly there was another flow alert and a topping pattern. Here I'm showing the total line. It was a little bit easier to see both. Setting up a very nice short. Flow alert comes in. Traders start taking negative delta options positions. Price moves lower. Let's go back to Bookmap. And this was in the watch list, stock watch list that I posted this morning. ANET was one of the stocks in this watch list. Short entries, There's that topping pattern flow alert. Arista Networks makes a series of lower highs, breaks down below VWAP, and continues moving lower. And here are your price targets. These levels of high liquidity, those are limit buy orders in the order book, tend to track price. Last one down at 102. OM asks, what is the flow alert? A flow alert signals significant options activity for that particular instrument. So it is comparing options activity for this particular instrument for what's going on right now with previous options activity. All right, so that is the Arista Networks. Again, I was prepared for this in the morning. I was watching this in the morning and, waiting for a setup. So watching Hero on one screen and Bookmap on another screen, watching for this short setup. So that's something that I've been doing recently, is instead of just focusing entirely on the Mag 7 stocks, looking at other stocks that may have news or move based on news. In this case, it was an earnings report. All right, let's go back to Hero. So you can see short setup this morning, full alert, shift from positive delta notional to negative delta notional. Price moves lower. Then again, a shift in the Hero signal, price consolidates, and then starts to move higher as traders take positive delta options positions. All right, so that was Arista Networks. There were quite a number of stocks available for trading this morning. I'm using a tool called Edge to Trade. I'm not going to show it here because it's set to make a sound. It updates continuously during the day, and it makes an alert every time a new stock is added. And I have it set up for a large cap breakout stock alert and or a scan, and that is the link, the loop. Yeah, Edge to Trade, very good tool. So let me show you a stock I found this morning, and it's not a Hero stock, so it's not available in Hero. HIMS Health, and that came in on my scanner at 9:33 this morning, right here. And that if you had gotten in right then, right around 61, let's say, that was good for about a 10-point move higher. And again, that was Edge to Trade, not a Hero stock, but a stock that popped in on the stock breakout scanner at 9:33 this morning. If you jumped in right as that stock came in, you could have captured up to 10 points on this move higher. And the loop asked, how did you configure the Edge to Trade scanner? I'll post that in Discord after my session today. Again, I don't want to show it because these alerts happen continuously during the day. All right, let's do one last check on the indexes. All right, quick pop up from right around 612 to 613 on ES. And after this quick move up, NASDAQ consolidating as well. Let's check. Check hero and trace. Then I'll call it a wrap up. All right, so back to index, S&P 500 index. Remember, I'm on the total signal now. We'll just leave it there. Quick move up, chopping around. That's the index signal, equity signal. Now slowing down as well. This is Spotgamma's. Oops. Spotgamma's 1-day implied move high. Price is still below that. That's based on the opening price for SPX. Let's take a look at trace. Again, according to what is showing now, most likely pin target at 61.45. And I'll post this at the end of the day. We'll see where SPX ends up. All right, everyone, I want to thank you very much for watching. And for all of you in Discord, thank you very much for joining me in Discord. That's what Bookmap wants to see, everyone in Discord. So again, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. Have a great day. Remember, I will be streaming on Friday, options expiration. We'll talk more about expiration on Friday. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on Friday. Thanks. Bye.